Greetings, blessings, peace, love, ashe, faith, goodness, all that good stuff. I always want to start off with a deep gratitude, giving thanks to the highest of all, highest praises of life. Appreciation of that sensation, sense, honor, and respect unto the higher powers above all, and sensation and peacefulness of that. So I welcome them into this connection. I welcome the beautiful gray, all the inner enlightened beings that I am in communication with, and am in synchronization with, that I do services with, that I also interbody, then interbody the Oishas. Give thanks to Adumar, forgive me if I pronounce that wrong. Give thanks to Yema. Give thanks to Kemet. Give thanks to Mat. Give thanks to Ra. Give thanks to even the Ruach, Spirit, the Holy Spirit reference, the terms of nature of that. Give thanks for the gratitude of life, the thanksgiving of life. I'm continuing to share my inner experiences with inner bodying experiences with the higher beings. And I don't really interbody a lot of the higher beings, respectfully, especially due to the service sensitivity to speak, due to the service that I do, that I'm assigned to do, that I'm told specifically, directly, assigned and guided properly and counseled to do. So I give thanks for all those beings in their existence form and the justice form of themselves. And when I break down embodying the Oishas and Kemet and some beings, I may also embody Christ, pertains to specific Christ too, the Christ connection, Christ consciousness in sense. So and embody the Yahusha, Hamashiach, and even, like I say, Mott, respectfully. And I have a connection with these beings that I don't seek to focus on mundane intentions. I don't seek to focus on, human distortions and carnal appetites, carnal pleasures, because that to me is literally unnecessary. And there's no need for that. There's no respectfully need for that. So what I want to continue to communicate to you all, I have my guideline. I always have my notes on me because, as I say, I don't use social media no more. I am aware that right now I am accessing the fourth dimension. So as I channel through the fourth dimension, although I'm still in this lower plane dimension, presence realm, I'm going to do a sound to initiate to, pronounce different enlightened beings. So thank you for your presence, and more importantly, thank you for yourself, caring for yourself first. So just I'm going to do some sound. So here we go. So I was going to start off the base of that first. And what I want to do now is actually invoke, different specific beings, healthy and enlightened beings. So I want to invoke them. I'm going to figure out how I'm going to channel my phone. I may turn my phone sideways, may not. I'm going to see something for a moment here. Maybe I can position it not to mess up my charger. Just trying to give me one more house. Trying to fist organize. Okay, perfect. That works out well. That works out very, very well. Give thanks as I prepare for this assignment. Just organizing myself. Just going to pull out my notes. It's just very important to do. Just make sure I got all my notes out. Cool, that's good. Perfect. I got all my notes out. I just want to make sure that. I got much in this bag. Give thanks. I'm gonna do one more for the oysters. I don't know how my thing got like this. Like literally, somebody basically was using my property and they did not treat it the way. For some reason, it's still going. Blessing, grace, love, peace, prosperity, harmony, truth, justice, balance. All right, so, but I was a young man of God. Thank you for coming through. Thank God for tuning to these same meditation gathering videos with me, Sak'Chi, Chinaki. You know, I give thanks for these videos. I always like to just give deep gratitude for just reflection. Hey, what's up? Reflection of where I'm at in the presence of state. You know, to be present with the event that has happened today, Thanksgiving, the American traditional event of Thanksgiving, because I'm present with the event. And it's mind-blowing because the history of Thanksgiving has been such a horrific situation for America because it's a tragic situation. If you don't know about the story of Thanksgiving, I will encourage you to go back and read the history of Thanksgiving, far as the traditional story for the celebration of the holiday term. Holiday. 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 Holla. Holiday. So you celebrate this holiday. You're hollering at this day. And you're hollering Thanksgiving at this day. But there's two coins to the sides of the table. There's the traditional of the Thanksgiving, which is the brutality of Thanksgiving, the manslaughter of Thanksgiving. My ancestors, respectfully, was part of that slaughter. So I didn't celebrate Thanksgiving the traditional way. But I celebrated Thanksgiving on the opposite flip coin side of the other way, which was I wrote in my daily meditation gratitude journal. So that was my reflection of Thanksgiving. I gave thanks in a different way, a different approach of Thanksgiving. But what I wanted to communicate about, something came to me in my meditation walk is this is something very serious. And it's part of the services that I do because I don't like to make videos just to make videos randomly. That's boring. That's unnecessary. I come to understand that to really properly do a real great service, to really like service is important. Your service is important. Matter of fact, your piece is just as your service is important. And since I've been doing these services at this park, I continue to come in to clear understanding about how the services are being done and why the service is being done and what should the services be done and how should it consist of. Trying to smack the little thing. I will say this specifically, that as you continue to, because what's really clear to be communicating about is what, how to understand these different realms. The process of interbodying a being, like interbodying specifically a higher being, like whether you want to interbody Christ, you want to interbody Kemet, you want to interbody the oysters, you want to interbody Buddha, you want to interbody Ganesh, forgive me if I pronounced that wrong. You want to interbody, any Greeks, any of that nature, any of these natures. You have to first understand this clear thing to give you a clear direction right quick. These higher beings will not interbody a being, a temple, if your temple is in one, first of all, low frequency. Like real talk. If your being, if your earthly host typical body, especially within your soul, it's at a low frequency, specifically vibration, they will not embody your host. Let me give you clarity of that. Reason why? Because 9 out of 10 they won't embody because it won't be in a proper alignment. Excuse me. Ooh, that was belch. It won't be in proper alignment. There'll be difficulties. There'll be dysfunctions. Wow. Anyway, there'll be excuse me on that one. There'll be difficulties. You know what I'm saying? There'll be difficulties, and there'll be disconnections. There won't be a harmony in a sense. So if you are doing services and you're doing services pertaining to, I will encourage you to research my give to you as I guess advice is inner search, specifically inner research the virtues that you want to embody. Like that's very important. Like don't dismiss that. Don't undermine that. Like it's very important to inner research specific virtues that you want to embody. And as you directly do that, then you align specifically with the specific inner, the higher, the divine being that that you want, that you would like to. When I mean inner body, meaning that as you enter by this being, meaning that you're going to take up this specific being features, and some of them may be a little bit physical, but some of the being features may not be physical. Maybe it's more spiritual, more virtuous. So you have to be very mindful about how these specific traits will be integrated as coming in harmony as one, integrated with your being. Now, a being may ask, well, what's the difference between if I had a past life, say for example, a past life higher being, and I'm now in this present lifeline, I am not that specific being no more, because I'm not that. I don't even have the being name, whatever label. I'm just not that being direct no more. Exact. So what you do is that you still, in that sense of, you do your meditation and your fasting, and you come to understand why specifically you embody that being, or why was your soul, your specific spirit was embodied of that being in that specific lifeline, whether it was that lifeline existence when it first specific appeared in this dimension, in the realm of whatever it appeared in. And if once you get that information, you're able to obtain that information, understand that information through deep meditation, deep prayer, and mantras, and through fasting, and that clarity will be revealed, and you have an understanding. Okay, you know how you go about in this present moment, in this presence of life. Now, that's one case that you can respectfully duly apply. And hold on, y'all. I always gotta keep monitoring this. In general, because it's important to properly understand, so that you can apply the right proper applications in your earthly typical host body. Now, say in the case that you didn't at all, that was not specifically your case at all. Say in this present case, you are actually now embodying specific that higher being. Again, it's important that you understand what you're embodying, because 9 out of 10, when you embody specific that being, you're also your lifeline is gonna have a lot of cross references specifically with that divine higher being. So let's just mention some names, features here. Say if you embody a Osha, whether it's Oya, it's Oshun, it's Ogun, whether it's Optila, I'm talking about the name, or even the one Osha represents wisdom. I don't know all their names by heart, but you embody one of them. You have to understand in advance. You have to be, you're going to be, your life is going to be very, very integrated, meaning that your life is going to come in alignment specifically with that higher divine being. Meaning that 9 and 10, you may exactly transition to the office of a priest and the office of a priestess. And this information is important. If you say, for example, you want to embody Haru, Horus, whatever, you have to again understand that you are specifically integrating where you are now linking and syncing as exactly specifically Haru as that being. And you have to also like understand that, okay, you know what, I gotta go back and do a little bit of homework as far as research specific as far as like the tales of this specific being, so that whatever life experience you experience, you know that 9 out of 10 the correlation is going to be on the same exact alignment, and it won't be a complication. It only will be a complication if you didn't do that a little bit, or if you don't want to accept specifically who you have actually came to acceptance within yourself and consent within your soul and spirit, that who you have come to an alignment with, to agree with, in embodied being. Now, and just give you different scenarios. Say in the case of you didn't want to embody none of them beings, but your biological parents specifically decided, and not until they was, told to do it, but they decided to say, hey, we're going to put this specific higher enlightened being. Say for example, somebody named their child Ra. We're gonna put Ra. We're gonna create you and put Ra specifically stamped and put Ra on your overall earth metabocal host body, even imprinted, encoded in your soul and spirit. And you say in the case that you don't want to be Ra, you don't want to have nothing to do with Ra, deal with Ra. But the thing is, the only thing you can do in a realistic experience speaking, real scenarios, real life experience speaking, is that you live out whatever you can with that Ra specifically. That doesn't mean that the whole entire lifeline of your existence has to be exactly lived out as Ra. You just live out a whatever percentage that you can, even go in your soul contract and say, hey, whatever percent I can exactly live out as Ra, then let me live that portion out. But far as the rest of the portion, I don't have to live the rest of the portion of Ra out. Now, I'm not saying that to be ungrateful. I'm not saying that to tell you to be ungrateful. I'm not saying to tell you to be insensitive to Ra, because you still have to be sensitive, knowing that that specifically is a past history of yourself, a past history of Ra, because 9 out of 10, the divine specific higher being knew in advance that this is, matter of fact, this specific higher being is going to be encoded and also imprinted specifically in a soul, and that 9 out of 10, that spirit, that root chief spirit, is going to align with the soul and come in agreement with that connection there. So these are some beautiful, great points. If you practicing any of these things, mindfulness or anything, if you're doing yoga and you're saying, well, I'm drawn to a lot of the India yoga positions, 9 out of 10, you're going to go back and you're going to say, okay, who specifically is of yoga? And then if you say, I'm going to go forth and I'm going to inner body, gosh, Lee has to know a little bit by heart. Gosh, Lee. Wow. I got to come back to that one. But just say you're going to inner body, again, I mentioned Ganesh. You're going to inner body. So you're going to, your lifeline, again, it's going to be in alignment specifically with Ganesh. Now, let me give you some more depth clarity, because a lot of these people, a lot of beings going to say, excuse me, belch. A lot of beings going to say, well, it's not healthy to inner body these specific divine higher beings. There is a balance and there's a harmony. There's an equation of something negative, correct, and then there's the equation of something positive. If there's the equation of 2 negative, then you know the equation is going to come out positive. And there's the equation of 2 positive, you know the equation is going to come out something specifically negative. So if you inner body specifically, say for example, these beings, don't get caught with the hype, because you can embody, again, any one of them. You can embody Christ. You can embody, just a refresher, you can embody Christ. You can embody a prophet. You can embody, you know what I'm saying, a Greek, you know what I'm saying, a Celtic, a shaman, you know, a guru, you know what I'm saying? So you can embody these beings, but you have to understand that what you can specifically do in that connection, in that syncing within yourself, is that you can just ask specifically, you can communicate, talk to them specific divine beings, that, hey, I would like to only practice mindfulness, just some words to give you here. I like to practice mindfulness, awareness. I like to just keep living a healthy, balanced life. You know, something simple, nothing overcomplicated. And that's what happens. So how does this connect to the presence realm? It won't seem to be really too much of a benefactor in this dimension, in this presence realm we're in right now. It won't seem to be too much of a benefactor for the fourth dimension, which is full of technology devices and full of communication with devices and stuff. But there is another dimension above that. So how do we relate to these specific beings going through S out of this present dimension and then going to another dimension, which is a connection to the fourth, and then they promote more the fifth dimension than the fourth dimension, but don't undermine the fourth dimension just because it's not being promoted. We are already correct in a state of the fourth dimension, which is again the iPhones, the iPads, which is the droids. Now you see a whole bunch of droids. That's all the fourth dimension. No more communication, no more vocalizing, no more, hey, can I call my friend? No more of that in the fourth dimension. The fourth dimension is all about what's the technology device, what's the best efficient technology device. Also, what is also a distraction of technology in the fourth dimension. That's also another thing, a pet peeve about the fourth dimension. It's also very distractive. If you don't actually agree with me, let me give you an experiment, give you a real life example. Put your phone in front of you. Let your phone sit, turn the phone on the side, on the screen, let it sit there for let's say for 10 seconds. And let's see, would you not react to your phone within 10 seconds while the phone is, matter of fact, screen is bloated up. You can see the screen light up. Now, if you respond to your phone within 10 seconds, that is literally the fourth dimension. I'm not making this up. My phone usually be off like 2 or 3 days, 5 days, sometimes maybe close to a week. Most can be pushed to close to a month. Right now, I'm at a site where somebody's using their charger. But say if I wasn't at this site where there was no availability of charger, the phone would be off. And yeah, sometimes I have moments like, oh man, I gotta get my phone charged. I gotta charge my phone. I gotta talk to my daughter. Blah blah blah. You cling to the technology device. You get used to it, familiar with it, comfortable with it, a little bit rely on it. But that's the fourth dimension. So in order to balance out the fourth dimension, what you have to do is honestly not get used to technology. That's how you won't kind of get caught up in the snare and the traps of the promotion of the fourth dimension. You won't get caught up in the snares and the trap of the desire of wanting so much from it. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong, you'll use it, you'll utilize it, but you won't have the desire and have too much of a desire for it. So be aware of a couple of things within the fourth dimension, especially in organizations and a lot of organizations. They'll be promoting that, talking about, oh, we have now better efficient ways where you can use the services, where you can I'm at a congregation site, so they can say, well, you can use the ATM, you can use the kiosk, you can use matter of fact, we have now on live stream, this is live stream, but just be aware, don't get caught up with that. Too much is not good, as they say. Balance is key, harmony is key. But my communication to everybody about that is really just get the fifth dimension, which is above a step above the fourth, is more about more animation. Which is also again crossing to the fourth dimension, because we see it's kind of like tricky with the fourth and the fifth, because the technology does promote a lot of connections to the fifth dimension, which is all the animation, the CGI, and the effects, and all that's kind of a little bit tied in the fifth dimension. But the fifth dimension is really an animated dimension, which is very highlighting. That's more your inner child play there, because it's like that's imagination. Your inner child will feel like it can just do anything it literally creates realities in that dimension, specifically the fifth dimension. So that's why the promotion goes on throughout these realms. It's like you create your own reality, and that's true in a sense, because that actually happens a lot within the fourth dimension. Within the fifth dimension in general. So that's a heavy promotion in general, to give you a heads up and inform you about that. But the sixth dimension is where you will start to encounter these inner enlightened beings, specifically these higher beings, which will be again refresher, which will be the ones we have been acknowledging, hearing throughout. Just the names has been attached to them, tied to them. which will be Christ, which will be Ganesh, which will be the Oishas and Kemet and Mot and Ra and all these beings. You know what I'm saying? You these higher, different, specific, divine, healthy inner light being could be potentially healthy, wonderful, great, healthy inner light beings of great counsels and great understanding. These beings will be the availability. They will be actually, matter of fact, seeking to want to connect with our earthly topical host bodies. They will want to, matter of fact, embody our host form. They will want to actually be of our host form. They will actually want to be the exact of our host forms, and they will want to actually take upon our host forms, and they will want us to integrate our subconscious into conscious with them, and we will still have small percent of ourselves with them inside them, or them inside us. But either or, that's the system mentions where we really connect with them. So again, and how we connect with them, honestly, tell you, is really elevating, is really tuning. Excuse me. It's really tuning more and more into our subconscious, honestly, for the sixth dimension with them, because our consciousness are which is basically going to bring things to the forefront, like it's like shining a light shining a light in your face. So that's the conscious, but the subconscious is where they really going to be interacting and really, revealing things deeply within, and pulling more and more back the layers of the mind, and more they're gonna, it's gonna be more very passionate with our hearts. They're gonna be very, not playing heart games and stuff, but they can potentially, saying there's a potential of that can be, but then that's again, that could be manipulated. But that's why I bring up the matter of really, right, like really understand, like really go back to this video from the intro and really listen to it, really take it in directly, because you have to understand that, again, just a refresher, interbinding these higher beings, it's not just, okay, I want to just, for example, promotion wise, like, okay, I just want to tell you about Christ, you know what I'm saying? But no, you really seriously, like really deep down inside, you really are seriously interbodying that spirit, interbodying that archetype, interbodying that specific archetype, that precursor, a foreshadow of a revealing of a virtue. Again, whether one singular virtue or multiple virtues. So you're really interbodying that specific virtues, them virtues of that specific divine being. And it's the same thing with all the others. So that's very important. Just to give y'all, just breaking this down very much more, and continue to into a simple format for you, so you can understand that. So when I communicate the beings and I say, hey, I actually do services with the oysters, I'm not saying like I'm just telling you about the oysters. No, I actually embody. I'm not gonna say each and every one of them. There can be potentially sometimes where it may blend, but I go back and focus specific on a virtue. Like, for example, I focus on the virtue of wisdom. So I interbody specifically the oyster that deals with pertaining specific wisdom. That's the oyster that I am interbody and I'm in connection with. When I say I interbody the justice, divine, universal law, so I interbody Mot. So Mot is also interbodied within me, and I'm interbodied within Mot. We are in unison as one. There's moments where I connect with matters dealing different pertaining matters dealing with, matters dealing with the underworld, dealing with, things of them type of intricate matters. So there's moments where I have interbody moments where I interbody Anubis, Anubis, you know what I'm saying? So I interbody that, and we work it out. It comes into a harmony, and the focus is that when I interbody, I don't focus on being malevolent, whatever how I pronounce that word. I focus on being virtuous. I focus on being, for me, I focus on being healthy. I don't want to pursue, I don't want to entertain things that are detrimental to the well-being of ascending and then stuff of that. And for me, I don't speak for me. But this is good clarity. This is good soundness. And as you saw in the entry, I was doing the sound, so that's another way to interbody, to connect with them in embodiment, interbody with them in general. So, it's just good things that you will not be, people will not really, sometimes probably not be really be breaking down to you all. But again, these are brief of great saying premeditated reels into meditation that I share with you all, and we share together as a journey of life. in the brief great chi spirit of life. But I'm happy to inform you all, to give you understanding and clarity and soundness, so that you can understand that it doesn't matter. Even if you don't want to embody none of these beings, you know what I'm saying? Say if you want to embody an element, that's another thing there. If you even embody, say you don't want to do, like Anna said it earlier, if you want to embody none of who the names that was mentioned, but you want to more focus tuned to elements, and you want to, and you're more drawn to water, so you are don't get me wrong, the body already has percentage of water, don't get me wrong, but you are also embodying the conscious, the subconscious of water, because there is literally consciousness in water. There is literally living activeness in water. The water is actually living. So you are embodying the flow of that, the whole harmony flow of that. If you like fire, you're like, oh man, I like fire. You are embodying specific to fire. There is still a higher divine being that's connected to the fire. But again, if you don't want to focus on that, then you want to lean more on the element side, then that's cool. That's just what you're going to be tuning into. So you know these things you embody. Me, I'm a water. I like water. Although I'm airy, but I like water. I like earth. I like to continue to keep grounding on earth, but I like to continue to keep flowing like water. So I'm in water every day. I'm in water a lot every day, and that goes right into the service. I'm saying the next thing I'm mentioning to you on the communication. Let me just see how I'm open my 36. Is that when you receive services respectfully from this divine masculine being, that's also have the divine counterpart feminine within me, and I give gratitude and grateful to the divine feminine counterpart within me, and also to divine masculine, but most higher up, higher praise, and to grateful great, the makers, the wonderful great, higher divine creators, abundance of life. I give gratitude to them, and all respect, all honor, all praise, all glory, all credit, all respect unto them, and all healthiness, and all respect, and all mindfulness through this existence overall. But definitely, when I've been reflecting on service, and this is something I do want to address that comes to my spirit, is that in embodying the oysters, there's something came in through the process of connecting with the oysters and even Kemet, but also with healthy spirits, with also a healthy guide and spirits, and even with Ganesh and all of them, respectfully to even Christ too in general. I say this to say to people, to beings who do services, especially when you're outside doing service with the natural surroundings, natural elements and stuff. It's very important for us to not just only do service outside, we're led to do service outside, but as far as do service outside, but it's also important for us to have healthy connections with everything outside. That even includes the animals. That even includes the land, the elements. That even includes, channeling and being mindful of all of that. Because just as we see, for example, squirrels and stuff, we may like, well, we may not say, some may not say they're not important, but it's still nice and mindful, hey, I like feeding squirrels whenever I get a chance, and birds, I will feed them something. But say if you go in a terrain where you're at a lake or river, and you know that there is a gardener over the specific the river and stuff. It's honorable, very very honorable, and say to you all, it's honorable that we make sure we harmonize with that specific gardener. For example, the service that I do, the service that I'm able to be blessed to do, and to also unite with other beings, divine beings there. Me and this divine masculine being, we it comes to us every day. Oshun, shout out to O. I'm not gonna say his real name on social media, but to Oshun, what I'm saying, he goes by, blessings to that. But it's an honor that we do our best to continue to keep honoring the specific alligator. And again, it's a female alligator. Just to recap from previous video, it's a female alligator, and it does have a baby. I'm not intending to seem like there'll be a masculine there too, but we're honored. We're very very much honored in a sense, and we ask. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. We ask every day for protection, because sometimes so far we kind of go in this in this layer. We don't disrespect to go in this layer, but we will lay incense there, and we also kind of lay incense along the pathway throughout the whole entire area a little bit. But I said that, and that really made sense to me, because when you're doing something like that in connection with your service, especially again you're doing outside, especially in a park or a river or a dam or a lake, whatever, and you're doing something like that, and you have a harmony with specifically, what's up, Soldier Mike? You have a harmony with natural. You have a harmony with the natural elements, and also have a harmony with the animals, and where you do your services at, and where you do your spiritual brief work at. Happy Thanksgiving to you too, Sak'Chi. That's my name, but I understand you still say Young Gutter. That's where you at. I accept that. But no disrespect to you. I'm just saying that that's where you're at, respectfully. But gratitude to you too in life. But it's very important that you be in harmony with the animals in the land, because again, I do services outside. I'm led to do services outside, and there are also divine beings, specific higher divine beings, that are connected to the services outside, connected to the elements, connected to the animals. Some of these divine higher beings have representatives of animals connections. So like Mama Yema, the oyster and stuff like that, she you know what I'm saying, she connects to the waters. She connects to the waters. So she helps fishermen, and she also okay, then speaking my breath, preach blessings. She connects to the waters respectfully. So 9 out of 10, the animals in the waters are connected to her. And I, as a priest, I have to treat them animals respectfully. I have to treat them animals right. Even if I see them, I see a bird, seagull, crane, if I see a turtle, if I see an otter or oyster, or a beaver, just some examples. I have to treat them animals like as literally with respect. I can't treat them like doing harmful things to them, like speaking derogative to the animals. These that ain't good. That ain't beneficial at all, and that's not healthy at all. So when you're doing services, especially when you're doing service outside, and you're whatever service you're pertaining to do, which I hope is good services, just remember specifically that you can't dismiss the other creatures outside. And I'm not talking about just acknowledge, just, hey, cool, there's a bird, I'm gonna click that on, and that's it, and let it go. No, like, you have to speak blessings to the animals. You have to speak blessings to the land. You have to come in a proper respect into the, because you're in the terrain. You're in a terrain. You're in a territory. I understand that, yes, the whole dimension, this realm, whatever this planet you want to call Earth, is all of ours, but at the same time, humans live in buildings. A lot of beings live in buildings. Some beings don't live in buildings. Some live on the streets. And some live in beautiful natural surrounding parts, surrounding atmospheres and stuff. So I'm sure that through different connections that all of us have, we all have a different reaction to it, a different reflect to where we're at, the surroundings where we're at, and how we're operating the surroundings, and what the surroundings means to us. So all of these are some factors that you don't really you don't want to overlook in your services, in a sense. And I mean by that, and I really respectfully mean that, by much honor and respect. So I continue to communicate to beings that there are many beings who are, matter of fact, praying. There are people, literally spirits, respectfully say to them, the chief spirits of life within it are literally beings are praying in their mantras, in their prayers, in their premeditative thoughts, until their meditative reflections within themselves first. They are praying specifically for me to come to this. So I want to communicate to you all across the world, across this dimension, even outside of this realm, because there's other beings outside this realm that are not technically humans. Not saying they are unhealthy spirits, not saying they are bad either, but respectfully, there are other existences of life are asking for this presence. And I'm not talking about just my body. They're asking for my spirit presence. They're asking for the chief spirit life presence within his existence. So I want to communicate a message through this technology in this fourth dimension, and get it to them, is this: I hear you. It's a simple statement for the moment. I hear you. And I'm not dismissing your prayers. I'm not, matter of fact, don't want to reject your prayers. Now, if it's unhealthy, I'm going to be upfront with you. If it's unhealthy, if it's imbalanced, if it's insensitive, if it's derogative, if it's damaging, if it's, matter of fact, carnal or unhealthy human distortions, a distortion, whatever. If it's, unhealthy ego, pride, unhealthy pride, if it's selfishness, if it's injustice, well, injustice can work out two ways, but in that sense, by all means, I would not want to respond to them, saying them beings who will want this presence. And I would not want to do that. I would not want to respond to beings who will manipulate. You know what I'm saying? I would not want to respond to beings who will overlook the services that I'm told to do. I would not want to respond to beings who would just want to benefit, just to get the quick benefits, and then just out of that they don't even care. They don't even cherish the value of experiences. They don't cherish the purification. They don't cherish, they don't really be really happy. They just want to get quick rewards. They want to get a quick fix. They just want to get the quick benefits, the pros, but they don't want to. They just want to quit to get the quick benefits. I don't like to respond to them services, and I don't want to respond to them services. I don't want to respond to clients like that. I don't want to respond to spirits like that, souls like that, because it's not gonna help your soul. You might as well stay in the lower realm and just enjoy whatever the lower pleasures is, and then whenever that runs out, I don't know what to say to you. If you want something like that, if you truly deep down in your spirit and soul desire something, I'm not pointing fingers at you, because remember, I got 2 fingers. I mean 2 hands, but I got 5 on each hand. But if I turn my hand sideways with my thumb doing back at me, pointing twice at me. So I put myself in shoes like that. I wouldn't want to contact somebody. Now, some beings I do, some beings in advance, I do go visit them in advance in spirit. You may see me in a different form. Now, I'm not speaking again in unhealthiness, because I don't want to apply no unhealthiness, and I'm being honest to myself. I don't want to apply something that's falsehood. I don't want to apply something that's damaging. I don't want to, matter of fact, connect to anything or sync or premeditate or even reflect at all. Anything that's totally damaging, that's harmful. 100% I don't. And I'm confessing, I'm being seriously honestly with you on camera up front. Like, I don't. By all means, I don't. So I'm coming to different places. I'm right now in a process of helping the divine masculine. Again, send me a direct message in my inbox, email me, either one of the two. I'm going to test my email in a moment through direct text message, the chat. Also, you can always sense me. I can meet you in telepath messages. I can do telepath messages. All the above on that note, in that sense, in that connection and stuff like that. But by all means, I am coming. Again, I'm doing an assignment right now, and it's not when I want to come. So let me also be clear about that too. Of course, I would like to come when I would like to come, but it's not that. So I can't come when I want to come. I have to respectfully come to proper divine alignment. Also, there'll be, what I'm saying, there'll be equivalent of exchange, what I'm saying, of how the service will be all played out. I mean, all worked out in reference to, say, respect to the services. There'll be lodging with the services. There'll still be a fee, a blessing, what I'm saying, charity, donation, gifts. But there'll still be, I don't know how to, spirit work it all out. But I'm not saying that to say, in a sense, to respectfully say that there won't be a fee, in a sense, because 9/10 there still will be. That'll be just worked out in equivalent exchange, and that still be worked out in how that's communicated in that sense of form. But I wouldn't want to appear and want to go places where people will take the service for granted, and they will try to find cunning ways to really disrespect the services, because these ain't my services. I'm just a vessel being up front, being used, but I take them seriously. And I'm just coming forth. So message me, because I'll do my part on my side street to do some homework about, but I'm going to be focusing on healing, restoring waters. Of course, that goes in with the land, the element of the earth, and the element of the water. But it will also be connected to the solar system, the moon, the sun, and there'll be chants, and there'll be a lot of restoration. Also, I'm gonna be big fan of getting into doing river baths, river spiritual baths, either both, just in general. So I'm a big fan of that. I'm a big fan of that. But throughout the days, do dearly understand that it may not happen on the first get day. It may not happen the first get day that you request services, and it happens so fast. That ain't the process with me. I'm gonna be upfront with you. It's a purification process. It's a really true relationship and a connection. It's not about rushing a connection, because that's not healthy. That is definitely not healthy. That is detrimental to your well-being, and that is totally something that I do not want to, by all means, partake in. I don't want my hands at all in that. I wash my hands away from that. I'm not in that type of stuff. So you want to go get a quick fix just because you want to get quick results, just because you want to get something quickly over. I'm gonna be 100 with you. That in the short term, that could work out good for you, but long term, that ain't gonna help no generations. That ain't gonna help no children. That ain't gonna help really you, honestly. It ain't gonna help you in the long run. It's just a quick 60-second satisfactory. May seem like it's going longer than 60 seconds, but trust me, it's a quick 60 seconds satisfactory. And you may just need that. But then when that 60 second pass, what you gonna do next? Go for another higher thing, another higher dose? That ain't gonna work out either. It becomes addiction and patterns. And them patterns could become very strongholds in you. So I don't promote stuff like that. I treat it as a relationship, and I treat it very, very honorably, honestly. So much gratitude to that. Other than that, thank y'all so much, man, for tuning in. It is 50 something minutes this has passed by. Thank y'all for who you are. It's always in there, forever I say, and forever I would like to say and continue to apply. But I hope this was dearly solid for you all. Like I said, I don't do really much videos. I just do when I'm led to do these videos. Hope dearly it makes sense. Not focus on being too intellectual, but let it still have a logic sense to it. Everything that's been said, and let it be sound in your mind, heart, body, and soul, and spirit, chi spirit of life in you. And another thing, last thing, make clear. Since I tune the tribes, I focus more on tribes in general. That's from spirit and physics. But I would say respectfully to any other tribe outside of specific being melanated. That's something when it comes to services with you all, I mean that's something I'm still getting counsel through, because it's just a little different. The reason why I say that, because you're just a different tribe. Just up front, you're a different tribe, and with different tribes, you just gotta do things a little differently. Depends on what the tribe, and depends on what the service is specifically pertaining to that tribe. But also depends on, ancestry connections too, and that involvement. And then also depends on, where you at with your divine specific, the higher beings, divine beings that you relate to. So there's different consultations with that. So again, that's not a rushing process either too. I don't rush really nothing. And service for me, I don't like to rush none of the services, to be honest with you. It's none of it. I like to just do, let follow proper guidelines, and be very, 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 very sensitive. I'm not overly sensitive, but very sensitive about how to go about doing things properly and stuff like that. So there won't be no mess ups and all that other stuff in general. But I thank y'all. Thank you for your presence. I thank you for your spirit. I thank you for who you are. If this has definitely been a video, been definitely a blessing to you, leave a charity donation. Leave a charity donation. I'm going to just be upfront, because I put myself in y'all's shoes. Some people say, well, I ain't got it. I understand. Well, find another equivalent way of exchange. You know what I'm saying? Find another way to, equivalent of exchange. You know what I'm saying? There's different ways. It ain't always got, there's just different ways. But don't just, don't be like, oh, well, no, I'm going to forget that main way and just not do nothing at all. No, that's still considered that way about leaving a charity donation, but there's still different ways in general. So I understand people say they ain't got it and stuff like that. But also don't speak that over your life either too. That's another thing. Don't speak that over your life too. Just say I do got it. It may just be in a different expression. But let me leave my email right now in this for information, so that you can have my email address to send me an email if you want to get in contact with me. I do check my email frequently. So some people can email me direct, and then they can just send me a message about if they would like to request services. If you don't get to me by texting me through Instagram direct message, you can send me direct email. I know email is old school, but I don't know how often people still leave email messages. But thank y'all so much. Much gratitude to y'all. Y'all enjoy your beautiful night. Again, let me make sure I'm holding the camera straight, stern. I appreciate y'all, and I'm looking forward to, again, travel, because that's what I'm going to be doing. Again, travel, healing, restoration, healing, restoring waters. And so that the waters is not just only healing for the body, but even to the point you can even drink them healing, restore, and be very well nourished. And also take a bath. Breathe for great spiritual baths and very high potent and stuff like that. But I'm done. I'm out. Much love. Gratitude. Bye-bye.